Galveston Unscripted.
13 Eyewitness News.
Initially listed as one of the 70,000 still missing, the Pentagon announced a World War II Marine from Galveston has been identified 77 years after his death. Justin G. Mills, killed in November of 1943 during a battle on a small island in the South Pacific.
Memorial Day is a moment to honor those who gave everything in service to this country. We raise flags, gather in silence and in prayer. For some who fell in battle, remembrance has long come without a grave. In the fog and chaos of war, many fallen soldiers never made it back to U.S. soil. Their remains lost or unidentified for years. Today's story spans over 3/4 of a century and over 7,000 miles. We honor the memory of Marine Corps Reserve First Lieutenant Justin Green Mills, a proud Marine from Galveston, Texas, a courageous leader who gave his life in service to his country during the Battle of Tarawa in World War II. From the shores of the Gulf Coast to the fierce battles of the Pacific Theater, Mills embodied the courage and sacrifice that Memorial Day asks us to remember. His story is not just about war. It's about the relentless dedication to bring thousands of our fallen soldiers home, even decades after they gave everything for our country, and giving our soldiers the resting place they deserve. We'll start this story here in Texas. Justin Mills was born in Houston on December 12, 1917. Though Mills wasn't born on the island, he got here as fast as his family could, and his father began working at the port. And by 1931, Justin was attending Ball High School, athletic, outgoing, excelling in marksmanship, swimming, and football. After graduating Ball High, he joined the Galveston Wharf Company. When he wasn't working, he was honing his skills on the gridiron, playing for the Galveston Hurricanes, an amateur football league. In 1937, he enlisted in the Fleet Marine Corps Reserve and quickly rose to the rank of sergeant. And like a true Texan, he was recognized for his shooting skills, and he competed with the Marine Corps Rifle and Pistol Team in 1940. By the outbreak of World War II, he had earned a commission as a second lieutenant. His unit was activated, and Mills left civilian life and joined the 2nd Marine Brigade by the end of 1940, and made his way to the South Pacific Theater to fight the Empire of Japan. As a newly commissioned second lieutenant, Mills was deployed as a platoon leader with Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines. He quickly earned the reputation for fearless, aggressive leadership. In August 1942, Mills led an amphibious landing on Florida Island in the Solomons. When the driver of the boat hesitated to approach the shore, Mills threatened him at gunpoint to push forward, which truly defined his no-guts, no-glory leadership style. Following the nearly unopposed Florida Island operation, Mills and his men took part in the assault on Tulagi on August 8, 1942. They then remained on Tulagi for the next 2 months, performing garrison duty, while the intense battle for the nearby Guadalcanal on the Solomon Islands raged on. Their duty was occasionally interrupted by enemy raids and shelling. By October of 1942, Lieutenant Justin Mills and his battalion conducted a raid on a Japanese position at Guadalcanal. This mission began with a tragedy when a boat capsized, drowning over a dozen Marines. Despite this, Mills and the rest of Company C pushed on. Mills helped execute a successful dawn ambush, killing 30 Japanese soldiers. When his platoon encountered vigorous opposition, courageously pushed forward in the face of machine gun, mortar, and point-blank 37mm gunfire. Although his platoon suffered heavy casualties, he succeeded in capturing and holding his objective. Frustratingly, the Marines were soon ordered to withdraw from the ground they'd taken. By late October, Mills' battalion was permanently deployed to Guadalcanal. The Silver Star is the U.S. military's 3rd highest decoration of valor in combat, awarded to those who demonstrate extraordinary heroism in the face of enemy forces. It recognizes courageous actions that go beyond the call of duty and embody the highest ideal of service and sacrifice. With that in mind, here is the official citation honoring Lieutenant Justin G. Mills. The President of the United States of America takes pleasure in presenting the Silver Star to 2nd Lieutenant Justin G. Mills, United States Marine Corps Reserve, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity during actions against enemy Japanese forces in the Solomon Islands area on November 3, 1942. Due to his relentless valor on Guadalcanal, Mills was promoted to 1st Lieutenant in early 1943 and continued conducting combat patrols and manning defensive positions through the end of January. And by February 1943, Justin Mills and his fellow Marines left Guadalcanal for New Zealand, where they spent the next 9 months recovering, training, and enjoying liberty in Wellington. Like many others, Mills appreciated the hospitality and bravery of the New Zealanders, praising them publicly as true allies. Meanwhile, back at home in the United States, Lieutenant Justin Mills was writing letters back home, and a few of these letters were even published in newspapers around the country, praising the allies he was fighting alongside in the Pacific. In one letter he wrote back in 1943, he states, quote, "I have been associated with men and women of our allied nations, British, Australian, Dutch, New Zealand, Chinese, and they are strong, gentle, Christian people. And in my biased opinion, it is necessary to not only our future welfare, but to the peace of the world, to continue to think of these people as friends and allies. They give as freely and die as gallantly as any American." He then goes on to describe a few of the black soldiers fighting in the Pacific, stating, quote, "Our colored citizens too out here are American citizens in every sense of the word, enduring, sharing, and dying heroically. They deserve a better break than they are getting. America can never be the, quote, land of the free until we are one race in our rights and freedom," end quote. And just a reminder, this was published in the newspaper, his entire letter. Before he signs off, he says, quote, "Say hello to Mr. Seeley, Mr. Parker, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Morris, Mr. Papiri, Mr. Webster, Charlie Malia, Dave Sweeney, Mr. Stein, Dutch O'Regan, and all of the gang I know. God bless you all. First Lieutenant Justin G. Mills." Galvestonians were proud of Lieutenant Justin Mills. A 1943 article in the Galveston Daily News states, quote, "Although he was born in Houston, December 12, 1917, Lieutenant Mills was reared here and was graduated from Ball High School in 1935. He joined the 15th Battalion Fleet Marine Corps Reserves, organized here by Colonel Clark Thompson in 1937, and left his job with the Galveston Wharf Company in November 1940, when the unit was mustered into naval service." The article goes on, "A crack shot. He has won several marksmanship medals. He is also noted as an expert swimmer and played football with the Hurricanes," end quote. By the fall of 1943, officer reshuffling and promotions brought Mills a new role. He was promoted to Executive Officer of Company C, serving under fellow Texan Captain James R. Clanahan of Amarillo. On October 17, 1943, First Lieutenant Justin Mills and Captain James R. Clanahan led Charlie Company aboard the USS Harry Lee to prepare for their next mission. For over a month, they rehearsed amphibious landings and endured tense anticipation at sea. While spending weeks waiting and training at sea, Justin Mills earned a new nickname. One of his buddies aboard the Harry Lee remembered him as a loud-talking Texan, bellicose, but with a saving quick grin. He considered himself a tough fighting Marine, and after the war, he expressed interest in staying in the service and becoming a professional soldier. His buddies gave him the nickname Tex. Like a true Galvestonian, he was a fighter and fit perfectly in the United States Marine Corps Reserves. In late November 1943, over 3,000 miles from mainland Japan and over 4,800 miles from the west coast of the United States, the Harry Lee arrived in the transport area off Batio Island in the Tarawa Atoll. Mills stood out for his bold personality, but he also understood the risks ahead, warning that many wouldn't return from battle. Despite a heavy naval bombardment, Mills correctly predicted it wouldn't neutralize the Japanese defenses. In the next reserve wave, Charlie Company couldn't land until noon due to limited transport and heavy enemy fire. When they finally came ashore, chaos followed. Only 70 of nearly 200 Marines regrouped with minimal weaponry. During the landing, at just 25 years old, Lieutenant Justin Mills was killed by a gunshot to the head. He was one of 5 Charlie Company Marines to die that day. The other 4 soldiers that were killed were Corporal Oscar H. Cole Jr., FM First Class Roy E. Keel, and PFCs, or Private First Class, Marion E. Breithaupt and Norman A. Bwan. Over several days of intense fighting at Tarawa, approximately 1,000 Marines and sailors were killed, and more than 2,000 were wounded, while the Japanese on the Tarawa Atoll were virtually annihilated. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, more than 400,000 died in combat. KIA means killed in action, those confirmed dead on the battlefield. MIA stands for missing in action, soldiers whose whereabouts remain unknown after battle, their families only receiving letters expressing that their loved ones were missing or killed in action, with little information and no remains returned. No closure, only hope that one day they might return home. After the Battle of Tarawa, Marines and Navy corpsmen were buried in hastily made cemeteries near the front lines. First Lieutenant Justin Mills and 3 others from Charlie Company were laid to rest in the Central Division Cemetery, later called Cemetery 26, marked only by simple wooden sticks. As months passed after the battle, Battle Island was transformed into a permanent U.S. airbase. In 1944, in an effort to improve the appearance of the battlefield, Navy personnel launched a well-intentioned but ultimately damaging effort to beautify the many temporary burial sites across the island, unintentionally destroying original grave markers and misaligning burial rows. The original grave markers were removed, and the precise locations and orientations of many individual burials were mixed up and lost. After World War II, in 1946, the 604th Quartermaster Graves Registration Company arrived to exhume the bodies. They found disorganized remains, making identification difficult. Keel and Breithaupt were identified, but Mills and Buon were not. Their families were told in 1949 that their remains were unrecoverable. Over 7 decades later, a nonprofit organization called History Flight, with sophisticated DNA technology, changed that. This remarkable discovery was made possible through a collaboration between the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, also known as DPAA, and History Flight. Founded in 2003, History Flight is dedicated to locating and recovering the remains of missing American service members through a mix of forensic archaeology, ground-penetrating radar, historical research, and DNA analysis. Their work has been especially impactful on Battle Island, where they uncovered lost cemeteries and recovered hundreds of soldiers once thought lost forever, including Lieutenant Justin G. Mills. In 2014, History Flight's nonprofit group excavated Cemetery 26 and found many remains left behind. In 2015, they turned them over to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Among the remains exhumed was Lieutenant Mills. His identification was confirmed in 2019 through anthropological analysis and mitochondrial DNA testing. For decades, Mills was one of the thousands lost to the fog of war. His resting place unknown, his family left without closure. Today, Mills is no longer listed among the missing. On May 26, 2021, nearly 78 years after his death, Mills was laid to rest with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. In recognition of his bravery and sacrifice, his family received his military honors, including a Silver Star, a Purple Heart, a Combat Action Ribbon, Marine Corps Presidential Unit Citation, Marine Corps Expeditionary Medal, an Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, an American Campaign Medal, a World War II Victory Medal, and a Gold Star lapel button. Every Memorial Day, we honor the brave souls who gave everything for this country, men and women like Lieutenant Justin Green Mills. Mills' story is just one of thousands. As of 2020, there were still 72,639 service members still unaccounted for, just from World War II. And with this new effort and technology, approximately 30,000 have been assessed as possibly recoverable, thanks to the tireless work of the DPAA, the dedication of nonprofits like History Flight, and the unyielding commitment of the U.S. military. Over the past few years, their efforts have resulted in soldiers and battlefields around the world to be properly identified and brought back home. Stories like these, sacrifices of soldiers, and names of those lost in battle are being brought back from the shadows, reminding us all why we remember. This Memorial Day, as we raise our flags and bow our heads, let us honor their courage by never letting their legacy fade, and by continuing the promise to bring every soldier home. This is Galveston Unscripted. To dive into everything Galveston, check out visitgalveston.com.